Hey Autumn, how you doing? I'm a little confused. Did you lose your digital files or did you actually lose the paper prototypes? Boy, either way, that really kind of sucks. I'm so sorry to hear that. Luckily, you didn't lose something that's not so easily reproducible. So, if there's anything that you want to lose, it's the paper prototypes because they're so easy to reproduce. I mean, in the testing stage, you're going to reproduce those sketches for the paper prototypes, anyways, right? Depending on the answers and whether your test subjects get their tasks correct or incorrect. So, anyway, sorry to hear that. Let's go ahead and jump over to the work. I see you've got the PowerPoint presentation. So now I'm guessing this is a work in progress. So I'm not going to comment much on the design other than saying that this should be designed. So if you want to take a look at remember the greenhouse example from back in week two, this is a good example. I recommend that you keep this open and also definitely want to get out there in the announcements area and take a look at the examples that I've placed there for some really great ideas on how to design your book. Okay, so let's go ahead. Why have an app? So this is I guess this is your statement of intent. I'm going to do something here. I just want to bring this in a little bit. Okay. So I'm guessing this is your statement of intent, right, Dale? This would be a single mom. So right now, it looks like you're jumping into your target market here, but that doesn't make sense. We want the target market to be on its own separate page. So right now, I would recommend jumping into the presentation for the process like this. Start a separate page. After your title page, start a second page that says statement of intent and describe what you're hoping to accomplish with this assignment. Then move into your definition of the problem and your app solution proposal, where you're describing how the app will rectify the problems associated with the definition of the problem section. Okay, so we have problem and solution. Then we jumped out functions and features. You really want to get detailed on this page. Now, you can think of this process book as a process to show interested stakeholders in the project. For example, I like to use this scenario is that design your book like you're getting ready to show it to an investor who wants to invest in your digital app, the money person. So they're going to need to see everything. They're going to definitely need to see a full page here on special features, not just two like tracking orders and only seen on the app. That's just not enough information. And then process of design, typography, color scheme. Let's get in here. Let's give some information. Right now, this is just not giving us any information at all. So we really got to start working this out to some finer detail. All right, so now we get into, and I guess this could all be considered to be the research findings section. Okay, so we jump into our target audience, single men or women, early to mid 20s. I disagree. I disagree. I'm the target. I mean, you want to expand that target market. Early to mid 20s, you're saying a target market of roughly 20 to 25, and that is just really eliminating a large section of people who might be interested in this app. So I would definitely expand your target market. Competition. Now, in the competition page, this has got to be a very complete page. It needs to show evidence that you've done ample research regarding a competition and that you were able to pull out pertinent facts and figures regarding the competition so that you can adjust your app accordingly. So in the competitive analysis page, I recommend giving at least 3 competitions, show their interface, show some pictures of what they look like. And then you don't just name who the competition is. That doesn't do us any good at all. We need to use this information. This has to be usable information. So what we're going to do with the competitive analysis is we're going to include pros and cons in 3 different areas of each of the competitive apps. So you're going to prove pros and cons of the functionality and features of the app, pros and cons of the visual design of the app, pros and cons of the usability of the app. And now, as you can see, if we're doing pros and cons in those 3 areas, it's a good idea to show the actual interface so the viewer knows what you're talking about when you're talking about visual design, okay? We go into Persona 1 and Persona 2. That's great. persona, tattoo artist, school teacher, 26. Married or single? Do they have children? That's very, very important. Also, what are their habits, hobbies, and special interests? We can see that in one of the pages over here, right there. Primary motivation, special interest. Yep. So let's give some motivation for these as well. So again, include that information in your personas. Storyboards based on persona 1, persona 2, latest merging Blackcraft Cult is about to drop. Instead of refreshing the site, she is able to have an app give her notification when new items are soon. Persona 2. Okay, these are scenarios. These are personas. These are called scenarios. Okay, so in the scenario, and then we also need sketches. We need wireframe sketches of the scenarios. So once you introduce your persona, you take that person, you put them in a scenario where you describe where they are and what they're doing in a situation where they could use your app. So I think a great way to show a scenario is just to storyboard a situation without the app, and then the problem, defining the problem, and then show the exact same scenario underneath it with the app. Okay, and those again, those are called scenarios, not personas. These are personas. These are scenarios. Okay. Storyboard for persona 1 and 2. So you got to get your drawn storyboards in there. Otherwise, they just don't make any sense. Okay. Now we got our wireframe sketches. Good job. Good job. Watch your click to add. Watch your template pages. Okay, this is sideways. We can't have this. Every time you're in a presentation format, make it as easy as possible for the viewer to see your work. You don't want to present pages on their sides. These are paper prototypes. Okay, so what do we only want to find so far is a progress point. Okay, so we're going to need a full set of paper prototypes. Digital wireframes. Okay, so it looks like we end right there. Okay, so what do we need from here? We need this. Okay, wait a second. We've got user testing. Okay, playing around with the categories and cyber. We need to adjust the font size and place account information, placing a welcome message with the user's name. Okay, user testing is more of these questions that you will ask the test subject. Let me show you an example of user testing, page 52 in the greenhouse example. This is a great one. This is it. This is your kind of script for your testing session. So these are the 6 tasks that the test subject is asked to point to the paper prototypes to where they would go on the app to accomplish the following tasks. Okay, and then you need to show photographs of your testing session. Okay, so at this point, we stop at paper prototypes. We need a full set of paper prototypes. We need a written analysis where you need to show pictures of the testing session and then include a complete written analysis summarizing the results of the testing session. We need digital mock-ups of all screens. We need the click-through prototype, which you're working on. This process book is going to need a project summary. It's also going to need a bibliography, including research and image sources. Okay, so we're a little bit short on the process book, but like I said, I'm pretty sure this is a work in progress. You kind of state that in your writing, so I'm not too worried about it, just as long as you understand this should be completely designed. So I will say there's a few things missing here. So I think that at this point, it's time to kind of shift it into high gear and let's really start getting to the presentation format. I think your ideas are good, and I think that we really got to start seeing those mock-ups and those paper prototypes and those testing so we get a really good idea of what's going on. We got a great idea of the backstory, so to speak, but as far as the actual hands-on app, paper prototype, testing sessions, photographs of the testing sessions, wireframes of all screens, I said paper prototypes and photographs of those testing sessions. So, and then a complete and detailed analysis of the testing session, along with that kind of scripted set of questions that you ask each test subject. Okay, if you have any questions, now's the time because this is due next week, remember? So any questions at all, please let me know now. But next week, the beginning of next week, I'm going to, in the course announcements area where I put all of that wonderful stuff, I'm going to include a list of requirements for the final process book so that you know what is due. Okay. Okay. Any questions at all? Like I said, now's the time. Get with me so we can start finalizing things. Okay. Great job. Thank you very much.